steps out. Pivot. Walk all the way to the back. Make it look good.
For Major Sean Quigley, today is game day, the test that will make or break his chance of flying Marine One. Landing on the White House lawn at the controls of a presidential white top.
Like 45, heavy close full at the Foxtrot, taxi right, Bravo to the ramp, mile to ground, point down, okay?
For this decisive flight, Quigley will lift off in one of the squadron's iconic helos, the VH-3.
Clear for takeoff.
When you're flying the H-3, you really feel like you're flying a helicopter.
Rate 3 early Tango County turnway 4 left position and hold traffic crossing downfield.
It makes you do some work. You got to be vigilant, but it's very rewarding in that it comes through for you every time.
You're in control. Thank you. Should be all squared away. I told her to hit the boards. Coming up on here, I got a gear light left.
The trip up the Potomac will take only minutes. But before this white top can touch down at the White House, Quigley must make an intermediate landing. Next stop, a restricted military base, a facility the Marines cannot allow to be filmed.
You're in control. Thank you. Should be all squared away.
Presidential pilot in training, Major Sean Quigley has lifted off from a restricted airfield in Washington, D.C. Next stop, the White House. Quigley is about to face the ultimate Marine One trial. To become one of just 5 pilots approved to fly the president, he must nail the perfect touchdown at the White House. Not once, but 10 times.
All right, so I'm going to set up from over here. Yeah, even though, yeah.
Major Scott Volkert, veteran Marine One pilot, will monitor his every action. What Volkert reports will make or break Quigley's chances.
Not every person that starts the Marine One syllabus will make it all the way through to become a Marine One pilot.
There's 50, and you're clear left. Toes coming. Okay. Again, that's how you want to do it. You just keep that line of light right between you.
Quigley must navigate an invisible maze through tightly restricted airspace.
Okay, there's 200 feet. Okay, so I'm a little high and a little fast.
Security regulations and heavy traffic at Reagan National Airport confine Marine One to a narrow, low-level flight path.
There's your 200 feet. There's your 60 knots. I wouldn't have gotten too far over there. You're probably pretty good here.
Flying around Washington, D.C. below 200 feet, it's an almost indescribable experience until you've done it. The first time you do it, you don't want to be the pilot flying. You want the guy in the other seat on the controls because you just want to sightsee.
And this is just good review for you. Okay.
The Washington Monument. The last landmark. Over 500 feet tall, it towers above the helo.
Okay, nice and easy. The ground's coming up, so I'll help you out.
Volkert watches closely as Quigley turns into the final approach.
There we go. Yep, you're good. You're coming down. Okay, there's 200 feet. 50 knots, that's fine. That's no faster than 60. All right.
It doesn't matter how many thousands of takeoff or landings that you have.
Don't cheat right on us.
You make that turn around the Washington Monument, you receive your landing clearance, and you roll fine on the South Lawn. That's when you fully understand the gravity of the situation, the responsibility that you have. Without exception, my palms start to sweat, get a little bit nervous.
Okay, I'm putting this line between my legs. Yeah, right between your legs. Tree goes down the right-hand side. Just remember, we want to be over that fountain by, 90 feet. Oh, good visuals. Clearing 150 and 50, so we're accelerating now. Good line up. Don't cheat right on us. Good. Now just keep coming down. Now cheating right. Looking good. Looking good. Just keep driving forward.
The South Lawn.
100 feet, 30 knots.
Barely 50 yards wide, hemmed in by towering trees.
Man, it seems like we're close to that blue spruce on the left. Don't worry about it. You're good. I'm holding altitude.
Quigley can touch down just anywhere. his landing must line up precisely with 3 red discs.
Don't cheat right. Looking good. Looking good. Just keep driving forward. Keep driving forward. Clear to come left.
200 feet, 60 knots, 3/4 of a mile away from touching down. All you really see are those spots on the lawn, the White House, the fountain. And you know this is it. This is a big deal.
Okay. Now we're coming around. Yep. 10 feet.
Hovering 10 feet above the ground, one final maneuver. Quigley must rotate to line up the helo's wheels with the landing discs, each just 6 feet wide.
Okay. Now we're coming around. Yep. 10 feet.
When you are landing that helicopter, it's you.
15 feet back.
It's all you. And that is a rewarding feeling.
All right. 10 feet. Settle down to your 5. Looking good. And you're 20 feet back. Creeping it forward. Okay. 15 feet back. 10. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. There's the edge right there. Roll forward. Roll forward another foot. 6 inches. Brakes, brakes, brakes. Brakes are set. Feet are off. Power's on the way out. What do you think? It looks pretty good on this side. Looks good on this side. Okay.
Touchdown. Next challenge, the perfect White House takeoff.
Good APU. Yeah. Two's coming back. You're flying the head. Right out the right side.
And after that, Quigley must repeat the entire process 4 more times before nightfall.
Keep right up to 105. Fly straight out. Once we get out there, just like Anacostia, we'll do a button hook and come right back in. Come right out towards, basically towards the bridge over here. You know what I mean? World War II Memorial. Right over World War II. Pretty much. We'll just button hook back. Just, you know, just inside the basin.
That's very humbling. Very humbling. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. I've ridden over there a couple of times, and that's pretty simple. You make sure the turns are matched, and you talk on the radio. This time, it seems smaller. The boards were smaller. The lineup lines were shorter. It was as if it was almost miniature.
All right. Yep, 100 feet, 30 knots. Your next checkpoint is going to be.
A few hours later, Quigley tackles his final trial of the day.
100 feet right now, good altitude, hold the altitude.
A series of nighttime landings.
You know that trace, so just keep coming left a little bit.
This is the acid test for Marine One. But it will be weeks before Quigley learns if he has passed or failed.
You're not clear left yet, not yet. Now you are. Okay. Clear to go.
There's plenty of places that you can make some hiccups along the way, different situations that just arise where you may or may not have what it takes, if you will, to be a Marine One pilot HMX.
15 feet, 10 feet.
Flying in and out of the White House is only one facet of Marine One's complex zero-fail mission. Presidential flights that begin overseas or across the country complicate operations. HMX must ship a detachment of helos by cargo jet to arrive before the president. Today, HMX maintenance techs are breaking down a pair of white tops for a long-distance flight aboard a C-17 cargo jet. Destination, Bangkok.
Normally, if we're going overseas, we'll take the VH-60s. That's a smaller Black Hawk variant that has a smaller cabin, but it's just as capable with communications and flight capabilities and so forth. But it deploys so well just with folding up a few blades. We can roll that thing right into the back of an Air Force C-17 with all of our gear and personnel, completely self-contained in one aircraft, and fly to anywhere in the world and be there and build up and be up and flying in just a matter of hours.
The United States is the only country on the planet that supports its commander-in-chief globally and does that with its own assets. There is no other foreign country, even when they come to this country, that bring their own assets to fly their That is a unique facet of flying the President of the United States. By the time that the boss steps off the bottom step from Air Force One, we're ready.
Next destination for the President and HMX-1, New York City. The President is coming to town for the United Nations General Assembly. Air Force One will get him to Kennedy Airport in Queens. Marine One will take him to Manhattan. He'll land on this narrow strip of concrete jutting into the East River. The Wall Street heliport. Like every mission, the work begins on the banks of the Potomac at Quantico and HMX-1.
Okay, the mission flying the President to the Wall Street pad today in support of the United Nations General Assembly, which makes things a little bit more complex for us in that there's probably going to be a whole lot more helicopter traffic in and around Manhattan than normal. Preponderance of that traffic is going to be centered around the Statue of Liberty, but there is some coming down the East River and going over to the Hudson River, so we'll be wary of the fact that it could be a very, very densely populated airspace today. Okay, the Wall Street pad, we've all landed. It's akin to landing on a ship.
3 days before the mission, a Marine advance team hits the pad at the Wall Street heliport.
You can really box yourself in if you land 3 before 4, and you can't really help it.
Major Rick Barnes and Major Kevin Duffy will block out the exact choreography for the presidential landing. To avoid calling attention to their work, the Marines dress in plain clothes instead of uniforms.
This is where I want your nose wheel, and then as they're coming in, you direct them and then you get out of the way. Stand over here and hold it forward and see. Tell them the number usually, and you can, but everything looks good here. This is where we'll put Nighthawk 2.
Across town from the Wall Street helipad, a full-scale military landing is underway. The U.S. Marines are setting up a beachhead at John F. Kennedy International Airport. For the next 96 hours, this secluded corner of one of the world's busiest transit hubs will be transformed into a high-security military base.
It's huge. It's very surprising to a lot of people, the effort that goes into it. When you think about just our squadron alone, we have 70 people here just for the helicopter movements. You got Secret Service, West Communications Agencies, West Military Office. It's a lot of people.
Colonel Raymond LaRue gathers his troops in the hangar at JFK for one last briefing.
We're going to be busy this trip. It's a little bit non-standard than our typical Manhattan trip. We are here during the UN General Assembly, so there's going to be a lot of security, a lot of cops, a lot of closures, but nobody can do it better than we do. Anything from me. You're in Manhattan. Enjoy the heck out of it is what I'm telling you, all right? Hoorah.
From Quantico to Wall Street to JFK, the Marines of HMX-1 stand ready. Tomorrow, the President of the United States comes to town. The south lawn of the White House, the President's backyard, a place for receptions and ceremonies, where children roll Easter eggs each spring. But today, White House groundskeepers are rolling out a landing strip. With 3 red circular pads, they mark out the precise site for each of Marine One's landing wheels.
So they just weigh about 160 pounds apiece. They're half-inch aluminum, 6 feet in diameter. They serve not only as a visual reference for the pilot to come in and land on, but they also help distribute the weight of the aircraft evenly across the lawn, because if a huge helicopter, the wheels touch down in the exact same spot every single time, we'd end up with huge divots out on the south lawn, and that's the president's backyard, and that's the last thing we want out there.
The angle and location for the landing has been meticulously calculated for safety, ceremony, and the president's convenience.
What we're looking for out here when we set up is we want to align with the doors that go in the diplomatic room, exactly with the Jefferson Memorial down south, and that's what we're lining up on.
8 a.m. Marine One is due to pick up the president in 2.5 hours. The trip is an aerial relay race. First leg, Marine One will carry the president to Andrews Air Force Base. Air Force One will fly him to New York's Kennedy Airport. The last leg, another Marine One lift from JFK to downtown. The White House to Wall Street, 1 hour flat.
No, that's true.
20 minutes before takeoff, guests and the press corps are ushered into viewing areas around the South Lawn.
Every time we land on the South Lawn, there's hundreds of people out there that are seeing the president off or there to greet him.
At 10:24, right on time, the presidential white tops appear on the horizon. One helo heads straight for the landing pads.